you're a Republican, conservative, independent, or even a registered Democrat, I'm asking for your help. Our country's in trouble. It's in big trouble. We've never been in trouble. We'll end up in World War III. These guys are grossly incompetent. They have they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. You know in your heart that this country is not going to survive.
And that was former President Trump at a massive rally last night in Wildwood, New Jersey, as the 45th president juggles his campaign secret. He faces criminal charges brought by President Biden's Department of Justice, as well as Democrat prosecutors in New York and Georgia. Despite being campaigning because he's in court, a new poll from Morning Consult shows 37% of independent voters back President Trump for a second term compared to Biden. Joining me now with reaction is the former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Speaker McCarthy, great to see you again. Thanks so much for being here this morning.
Well, thank you for the invitation to join you.
Well, your reaction to that rally last night in New Jersey and this idea policy is being criticized of President Biden just as much as his economic policy.
Extraordinary. You have to understand, New Jersey, not a place that people think Republicans would ever compete, but the size of the crowd. President Biden get that crowd in the heart of New York or in the most Democrat state. Could he do it in California? And the other thing that we're hearing coming out of the White House itself is the White House is now saying President Biden needs to campaign less. It's in trouble while doing it. This is President Trump showing no matter what they throw at him, he's going to fight back. He's going to lead the issues they care most about. And a very compelling issue. You had an interesting statistic up there about independent voters. There was another poll out that voters, by 53% to 42%, believed a second term of the Biden administration would be a greater harm to democracy. This is backfiring. This persecution of President Trump, going after him because of politics. No one in America believes President be in a trial today if he was not running for president.
Yeah.
They're coming after our democracy.
Yeah.
And it just shows last night with that. Taylor, you have Democrats in that crowd, independents. I would be very concerned if I was in the White House today.
Independents are also President Biden's decision to hold back shipments to Israel. You were just in Israel, I know, and he's basically saying, do it, or we're not even going to share information with you, intelligence that it has about where the Hamas terrorists are if they go into Rafah.
We will study this decision for a century. This is one of the greatest harms to American around the world. Remember, when Israel was created 75 years ago, the first country to recognize them within 11 minutes was America, one of our greatest allies. Even President Biden within the last year said he will always stand with Israel. Then what has transpired? Israel, October 7th. There are hostages being held to this day. There are American hostages being held. And now President Biden, after Republicans and Democrats bound together by overwhelming numbers to fund Israel, to withhold it for attention. He's picking a terrorist organization. He's picking politics of college campuses. And you have to think how this will set us back and our enemies. Since President Biden came into office, we have now something that hasn't happened in 80 years. You now have an axis of Iran, Russia, and China bounding together like the 1930s. You have 5 American embassies that have to be evacuated. You have entering American base in Africa and asking Americans to leave. You now watch that China has entered the Middle East relationships with Saudi Arabia and Iran, a job that America used to do. This is all based, and then Afghanistan. Those 13 American Gold Star families leaving Americans behind, and now Israel. This is some of the greatest damning foreign policy we have seen in decades, and will take decades to solve it. And he's doing this based upon a policy that is fundamentally wrong, playing into the hands of a terrorist organization while keeping our border wide open and America vulnerable we've been in centuries.
Well, that's the most extraordinary part of it. And Speaker, I want to get your take on what you just heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene. I got to get about another effort to take down the current Speaker, Mike Johnson. What goes on in these meetings where you can't get any leeway whatsoever in terms of securing the border, and you keep going with the way things are going, and the way, again, we're seeing this with Mike Johnson?
Well, I disagree with our ability of not being able to secure. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary that we were able to pass H.R. 2, the strongest border security bill that Congress has ever passed. That. What you have to do is not give up on it. Watch everything we are able to accomplish in the first 9 months. Not just border security, $1 billion, reform welfare, Parents' Bill of Rights, energy independence, knocking down Washington, D.C., decriminalize so many different bills, standing up for individuals. We were able to stop the pandemic when the president said he would not stick together. There's nothing you cannot achieve. Don't play into the hands of Democrats. Look, I opposed when 8 Republicans joined to do a motion to vacate, and I oppose it when more Republicans today do it. It is wrong. Let's bound together, stick American cares most about. The border, inflation, American foreign policy, making our parents have a say in their kids' bringing down the price of fuel, making sure that government is not dictating, and there's weaponization of government. Remember, I created a select weaponization of government. We created a select committee on China. We have the tools to govern. The Republicans just have to bound together. And Jeffries say that he is the Speaker and the majority in the House.
And you just heard it. He said it specifically, Speaker, do you support Mike Johnson?
I support Mike Johnson. And look, it is a tough job, but the thing Republicans need to do, do not give up on H.R. 2. You can do Ukraine and the border at the exact same time. That's what we would have done last year, able to accomplish.
I want to thank you so much for being here today, Speaker McCarthy, especially since I know that this is your first Mother's Day, who passed earlier this year. How wonderful it must feel to you that you took her to this state dinner at the White House. You actually even traveled. You took her to Israel as well.
Yes. To all mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. But give your mother an from me. I lost my mom just a couple months ago. God bless me with a tremendous mother. And I was able to take her to Israel. She talked to Bibi to locations that on October 7th were raided. And she saw firsthand. And I took her to the state dinner. As mothers make such a difference in everyone's lives. And I wish every mother a happy Mother's Day.
Our condolences to you. Speaker McCarthy, thank you. Thank you for being here. We will see you soon. Kevin McCarthy. We'll be right back.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.